NFL Week 7 power rankings from Real Sports Covering. I'm going to rank the teams 1 through 32, but I'm going to start from 32 to 1, from the bottom to the top. Number 32, I got the Carolina Panthers, the worst team in the league as of today. I'm laughing because in the offseason, Adam Tingling he was a free agent, left the Minnesota Vikings, signed with the Carolina Panthers, and he made the statement that the Panthers got a Super Bowl caliber team when he signed there. Nobody believed that. Not even his wife and kids. The guy lost his mind when he made that comment. Horrible. Trash team. Moving on to the 31st ranked team, we got the New York Giants, ranked number 31. Arguably could have been number 32. They had a decent performance last game, so against the Buffalo Bills. So a lot of people think that they're improving. That defense looked decent, but they still bad. I just think Buffalo overlooked them. They got Saquon Barkley back the following week versus Washington. They supposed to get back Daniel Jones. I hear a lot of chatter that people believe Tyrod Taylor is a better player than Daniel Jones, but Tyrod Taylor can't even control. He don't even have any clock management. Poor performance right before the half. Let the time run out. At the end of the game, they ran the play to the tight end. Should have just gave it to the best player in the game, or the best player on their team, which is Saquon. If he can't get in the end zone, you live with that result. Don't put the ball in Tyrod Taylor's hand. For that decision, they ranked number 31. And that record, they're bad. Ranked number 30, Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, bad overall. Sean Payton had a lot of comments this offseason talking about other coaches, talking about the offensive coordinator for the Jets with Hackett, as if he was going to go to Denver and do better. Horrible, bad team. Denver defense was good for the last year or two. Since Sean Payton got there, them guys is not looking the same. They got rid of Frank Clark. They got rid of Randy Gregory, an ex-Cowboy. I hear Frank Clark might end up back with the Chiefs. I know he happy to be out of Denver. The best thing in Denver right now is the Colorado Buffaloes with Dion. Sean Payton not getting the job done. He look like a shell of himself. Maybe because he was shooting a movie. I don't know. That team trash. Ranked number 30, Denver Broncos. Moving on from 30 to rank number 29. Number 29, who did I have ranked number 29? Number 29, I got the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears could have been ranked a little higher, could have been higher in the 20s, but I know that they're without their quarterback, without their running back. They lost a few key players on offense. Justin Fields, hope he get healthy soon. I could see that he was going to start to pick up after they beat Washington. He was starting to get back into that motion. The game he got hurt in, they was going to win that game as well. But I also would like to see Chicago Bears not do so well. Maybe finish with probably the worst record so that they can have the number 1 pick and get or if they finish with second to the worst record right behind Carolina, they got Carolina Panthers pick. So if they end up with 1 or 2 of the worst records, they get the top 2 picks. And I would like to see them draft Marvin Harrison and maybe trade Justin Fields and get another first round or 2 for him, or trade that number 1 pick, because teams going to be calling, knocking down their doors because everybody want Caleb Williams. I say if you could trade Caleb Williams for another 3 future first-round picks, 1 next year and 2 more for the next few years, and a player or a 4th round, something like a key player from the offensive line that can help protect Justin Fields and have Marvin Harrison come to receiver, that'd be good for the Chicago future. Moving on from Chicago Bears, we going to the New England Patriots. New England Patriots ranked number 28 for me right now. Bill Belichick, I'm waiting on you to turn that thing around. Kendrick Bourne, the receiver's been coming along last game. Mac Jones, I know he haven't been looking the best, but the team is not good. Just flat out say it, they don't have talent on that roster. They need to start relying on running the ball a lot more with really and Zeke Elliott, or just trade Zeke back to them boys. Start wasting my god time. I would love to have them in that red zone because we haven't been as good as we was last year, at 85% in the red zone last year. So Zeke coming back could help us get back to that level of red zone efficiency. But they need the Patriots just got to turn around. It's not looking too good for the Patriots. Ranked number 27, I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, they play hard. Their record doesn't reflect how hard they play. Josh Dobbs was doing better than I expected he'll do. I know I said a lot about Josh Dobbs, but he's playing pretty decent. They got a few injuries now. James Conner, the running back, is out. I expect the Cardinals they're gonna play hard, but I don't expect them to win much games. Maybe 2-3 games. They're not gonna do maybe 3-4 games. I mean, they're not gonna do much this year. They'll be at the bottom 6 to 5 teams for the whole year. Don't expect much for them. If you're a Cardinal fan, feel bad for you, but it's life. Every once in a while, your team do bad. Moving on, number 26, I got the Tennessee Titans. Tannehill just got hurt, but it wouldn't matter if he was playing still. The guy just is below average. Don't know how he lasted so long in the NFL as a quarterback. The Dolphins saw the writing on the wall and got rid of him. Tennessee just continuously put up with it. Mike Vrabel, I like you as a head coach. You trying to get fired? That's the only thing I see, because you continuously play Tannehill. Luckily, he got hurt, but now you got Willis at quarterback. I think it's time to just turn the rings over to the young boy. You drafted, just let him play. Trade Derrick Henry. Give Derrick Henry the opportunity to go try to win a ring somewhere. Trade him to a decent contender. Don't try to get much value back for him. Just try to give him an opportunity. The guy played well for you guys for so many years. Give him back the opportunity to try to compete. Trade him to Dallas. We'll use him with a 2 running back system with him and Pollard. I would love to see Derrick Henry in that with that star in his helmet. That's number 26. We don't want to take up too much time. Moving on to number 25, the Indianapolis Colts. I know they have a 3-3 record. I don't expect much going forward. Quarterback out. I would have loved to see that young kid continue to play. They moved on to Minshew. Minshew is a backup quarterback. No matter how well Minshew play, he's going to have games and he's going to have moments. He's going to perform well here and there. But I don't expect the Colts to do much. They might win 6 to 7 games this year, but they should be at the bottom of the tier with some of the teams as well. But the Indianapolis Colts, like they D-line, they'll beast on the D-line and that linebacker crew. They play hard, though. They rally to the ball on defense. They got some young guys on. They got Pittman. They got the young guys on the offense. Alex Peck that they got a receiver. They got some young guys that can build that team for the future. With the young quarterback, he just happened to get hurt. If he would have been there, I would have thought this team would have performed a little better. But without him there, I don't expect much from this team. So that's my number 25th pick, the Indianapolis Colts. Moving on to what we got, number 24. Who I have for number 24 ring. Number 24, I got the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings, I don't expect much from the Minnesota Vikings. I hear the Vikings saying they would not trade Kirk Cousins. What you holding on to? The guy has underperformed year after year after year. He's not the guy to get the job done. Now you got your star receiver, J.J. hurt. You might as well just blow it up, move on. Give Kirk Cousins the opportunity to play with a better team. Try to get a little value back from him. I know there's a team out there willing to give you a second, third round pick. Maybe you can get a second and third if you was to trade him to a team like the New York Jets, because they desperately need a quarterback, so they might be willing to give more than they have to give up. That's number 24, the Minnesota Vikings. That number 23, I got the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers, every game they played in was pretty close. They performed well. One game they got blowed out, but they played well. Defense is solid. They got a few injuries. A few guys was out on defense. They starting to get back. They just coming off of a bye. Green Bay, Jordan Love, he have moments. He could throw the ball with the best on. He got that flick of the wrist. He could sling the ball. He just got to keep his foot down and make accurate throws. Sometimes he'll miss an open receiver, which he shouldn't do, because he got a beautiful arm. This is 4th year in the league. They give him the rings. They turned on the keys. They gave him the keys to the team, to the franchise. Hopefully he's the answer for the next 10, 15 years, because they usually build them that way from the time they had Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, now Jordan Love. Hopefully that works out for the team. That's my number 23 ranked pick was the Green Bay Packers. Moving on to number 22, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders is my number 22 pick. Jimmy G hurt again. The guy hurt like every other day. He's just one of them players. Remind me of Steve Nash in the NBA. He just gonna get hurt every game, but he gonna try to play through it banged up. I don't expect much for the Raiders. The defense is not good. The Raiders got 3-4 great individual players, but the rest of that roster is trash, and they relying on them players to do more than they asking the players to do too much. Like Adams is a good receiver. Myers is a good receiver. Josh Jacobs is a good running back. Crosby on the D-line. Outside of them 4 players, they don't really have much talent, so they asking them guys to carry the load. You only can expect it for so much. A game here and there, they'll be able to win with just them 3 guys, but for the majority of it, they're not going to do much. I expect them to win about 7 games this year, 7, 8 games, but they won't make the playoffs. They'll be outside of the playoffs looking in. But it might be better. Don't even waste your time to get to the playoffs because you ain't going to do nothing when you get there. So they might as well just stay out. That's my 22 ranked team. Moving on to 21, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers. I just trust Mike Tomlin. I believe Najee Harris going to eventually get rolling. They got Pickens at the receiver. He's coming along. Nice young talent, but they very weak at the quarterback position with Pickett. The defense is not as good as it usually is. They've been dropping down a little bit, but they got a lot of key players like Fitzpatrick at the safety position. They got T.J. Watt at the D-line. So they got some key pieces on defense that make other players around them better. They rally to the football. The defense will improve. They just coming off of a bye. I would like to see what they look like off of this bye against the Los Angeles Rams, even though I think the Rams are going to beat them this week. But I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 21. Moving on to number 20, I got the Washington Commanders. I almost said Redskins, but I got the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell, if they could protect him better in the pocket, give him a little more time, the kid can make plays. He reminds me kind of like a Russell Wilson player. Russell Wilson at quarterback, he's not the best quarterback. He's agile, he's mobile. He don't like to go down. He'll fight off a sack. He could throw the ball. He got a decent It's not the best He's not the most accurate, but he got fight. He got determination. He continued to fight. He play hard. That D-line is supposed to be better than what they are. I know the secondary is shot, but that D-line, you got straight first rounders, 4 first rounders lined up on the D-line. You got Chase Young, you got Sweat, you got Payne. They should be playing a lot better. They should be getting a lot more pressure on the ball. Washington, hopefully they could turn around and get a lot and start helping out that defense getting pressure on the ball. Number 19, I got the New Orleans Saints at number 19. New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr, expected this team at 3-3. I expected them to pull off that last game against the Houston Texans. They could have been 4-2. They got their running back with Alvin Kamara. They got a decent roster. The defense is always solid. Don't matter. For the last 5-10 years, the New Orleans Saints has been a good defensive team. Hopefully they can get their act together on offense, start moving that ball a little more. If they can do that, they'll be a force to be reckoned with. Maybe a trade or two before the trade deadline at the end of this month of October. If they can get a key piece or two, maybe even try to go get a DeAndre Hopkins. I know Hopkins just signed with the Titans, but the Titans ain't going to do anything. They should blow it up, let Hopkins go, and let Derrick Henry go. If they can make a trade like that for like a Hopkins, give him a second receiver on the other side of the ball, maybe that can improve. I know Hopkins ain't the same what he used to be, but that can improve him, give him a little bit more, a little better roster, a little better team. I don't expect them to do much as far as making any noise in the playoffs, but they'll be a better roster, better team if they can make a quick move. That's my number 19 rated team. At number 18, I got the Atlanta Falcons. They've been overperforming, overachieving. I know a lot of people, man, I've been seeing a lot of people say they should have beat the Washington Commanders. They had like 430 yards, and Washington only had 180. But I watched that game, but Atlanta they couldn't do anything when they got the ball down the field. It's nice, it's sweet, it's nice to move the ball, get 50 yards here, 60 yards here. When it don't result to points, it don't mean anything. If you struggle in the red zone, you ain't going to beat the big teams. You ain't going to beat the top teams. So Atlanta, they're at 3-3. They number 18. I could have had them a little lower because I don't expect them to continue to win at the rate that they're winning at. Even though they only 3-3, I don't expect too much more from them. Honestly, I think they'll take a step back towards the mid-end of the year. I expect them to lose more than they win. Moving on to number 17, I got the Houston Texans. Oh, man, just extremely coached well. The team is coached well on offense, on defense. Start with their head coach, DeMeco Ryans. This is just a good, hard-playing, physical team on defense. Pruitt, the safety, could have been Rookie of the Year last year. I think he was outstanding last year. The guy's a playmaker. Remind me so much of Earl Thomas from the Seattle Seahawks. The guy's just an animal. He's a beast, man. And the offensive coordinator, we got to give him his due. He coming over there from the Shanahan tree with the 49ers. The guy's just great, man. He's calling plays. He got the C.J. Stroud, the rookie quarterback, looking amazing. The running game got to come along with Pierre. The running back got to come along. They got to get that ball moving a little bit more in the backfield. Then they would use both running backs. You signed the running back. What's my guy name from Buffalo Bills they brought over this year? can't recall his name right now, but they got 2 running backs. Oh, Singletary. Maybe you got to start moving the ball with both backs, some play action, doing something, but you got to get the ball moving on a run game. That can also help that offense spread the ball out and look a little better. But for the most part, that offense been clicking on all cylinders. It's just a running game I would like to see improve. On number 16, the Los Angeles Rams. I tell you one thing, that secondary, trash. Might be the worst secondary in the NFL. Don't care how good Aaron Donald is in that D-line. That secondary need more help, boy. They need to get some talent in that secondary. You can't expect that D-line to get pressure to make that cornerbacks look good. Ain't nobody can say that corner. I don't care if they had Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt in his prime, Aaron Donald in his prime, and Micah Parson all on one team. That secondary is horrendous. That secondary is trash. Coach McVay, he gonna have to keep designing things and keep that offense on the field and keep that ball moving. That's their best hope. That team is bad. That secondary just bad. I seen them give up a touchdown. It was only 17 seconds left before halftime. Oh my God, I ain't never seen that. Well, I did see something like that, but shouldn't be happening right now in the NFL in the year 2023. People should be a lot smarter than that. But them corners just suck, and them safeties trash. Move on from the Rams, but I got them number 16, and the only reason because that offense is good. They got the young receiver, they got Cooper Kupp come back, they got the running game. They just lost a few running backs in Kyle Williams. They're going to play the young running back in Evans. Hopefully he can develop into something. But I expect any running back that get back there under Sean McVay zone running offense to look good. Sean McVay just a genius, flat out genius when it comes to calling plays and making adjustments. Going to number 15. My boy like to say J-E-T, Jets. New York, this is for you. You guys number 15. I know you're going to tell me y'all should have been top 10. I don't believe, as long as Zach Wilson at quarterback, he's starting to make a little stride, starting to improve. I think they need to get the ball out of his hands a little bit more faster. Start doing some screens, some wide receiver screens, some running back screens, some 5-10 comeback yard routes. Try to get the ball out of Zach Wilson hands early to start getting them in rhythm. Also expect Breece Hall starting to get into rhythm. He's starting to come into that midseason form at running back. I expect him to break 1 or 2 every game. The guy's electrifying, and it's crazy because I seen him beat guys. I know the first game he came back, he got ran down, but I think he was tired, lungs, tired, just getting back to season, first game playing after coming from that injury, been out all last year. But I seen him burn guys at an angle. Like, he don't even look fast, but the guy be moving. You know you fast. If nobody behind you can catch you, you got to be fast regardless of what it looked like. But I expect Breece Hall to continue running, continue making things happen for that team on offense. The Jets defense, that D-line is solid. You see what they made the Eagles do. They made the Eagles stop running, turned Jalen Hurts over 3 times. That defense starting to improve, and they did that without 2 of their star corners with Reed and Sauce. When they get them 2 guys back, the one thing about the Jets, they coach believe. Robert Saleh believe. Douglas, they GM, they make good moves and good decisions. So I don't expect the Jets to be down for too long. If Aaron Rodgers look like he's trying to make his way back this year, he's just hoping the team make the playoffs. That might happen with today's medicine. People get back in the game before they used to 10, 15 years ago. But we'll see how that works out with with Aaron Rodgers, see if he'll come back. But Zach Wilson, he's starting to improve. If you keep getting the ball out of his hand fast and relying on the running game and the defense, but it's going to come to a point when the offense going to have to score. And at this point, I still don't trust Zach Wilson. That's why they number 15. They could have made the top 10, but I need to see a lot more from Zach Wilson. So we're going with the Jets at number 15. Number 14, who I got at 14? My 14 ranked team. I don't even see my 14 ranked team. So, number Jets was 15. And I had Rams at 16. 14, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're slight better with Baker Mayfield. I trust him more than I trust Zach Wilson. The defense pretty much the same between the 2 teams. The Jets just got better weapons on the offensive side as far as the receiver core go with C.J. Goodwin and Mike Evans. But it still comes down to that quarterback, which make it a little rocky for me with Baker Mayfield's not the best quarterback, not the greatest. He got heart and determination. That's what separate him from Zach Wilson. He just believes he's better than what he is, regardless of his limitations as far as his height and his arm is not the best. but the guy just got what it takes to be he got what it takes as far as mentality, heart, to be a great player. He just don't have the tools to be a great player. But I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 14. Moving on to number 13. Number 13, Seattle got a good defense. They got a lot of players. They drafted well. I tell you one thing, Pete Carroll, maybe it's because he was in the college with the USC for years and coaching college football for years. The guy got an eye for talent. He know how to draft players. Every year they hit. And pretty much 1 through 7 rounds. It don't matter if first round, second round, third round. The guy find a gem in pretty much every round. He got a lot of guys performing on that defense side of the ball. He got great offense. You know, they got the 2 receivers in Metcalf. They got the running back in Walker. They got players. The weakness of that team will still be Geno Smith at quarterback. I know they signed Geno Smith to 3 more years. Geno Smith is still an average quarterback. Not the best quarterback. I tell you one thing. If the Seattle Seahawks had a better quarterback, let's say, for example, if they had somebody like a healthy Aaron Rodgers, even at this stage in his career being late, or if they had like the old Russell Wilson when he was balling for Pete Carroll, somebody even like a Dak Prescott, this team would probably be 5-1, 6-0 right now. It's a good team. They play good. They got a good roster all around, from the offensive line to D-line to the secondary to the safeties to the corners. The corners, them guys only 1 or 2 years. Woodland 2 years, and the young guy from Illinois is a thing right now. This is his first year. They're gonna continue to gel together. They're gonna get better and better. Bobby Wagner came back at middle linebacker. They're a young, solid team. I expect that team to continue to move on and improve over the time being. But that's who I got at my number 13. I got the Seattle Seahawks. At number 12, I got the LA Chargers. I think the Chargers is a lot better than what their records say. I know they only 2-3 record-wise. They got talent. They got Allen. And Mike Williams went down again at receiver. That's like every year. Mike Williams is just put IR by his name. His guy gonna be hurt for sure every year. I don't remember one year he wasn't hurt. Even back in college, I'd take him back to Clemson days. The guy just always hurt. But when he in the game, he plays well. But I guess they saw the writing on the wall. They went and got Quentin Johnson from TCU, the wide receiver. Haven't seen them use much of him this year as of yet, but they still got Palm at receiver. They got Keenan Allen at receiver. They got Eclair running back, who haven't played well. Dallas made him look like he was non-existent on his first game back, but I guess once he start getting acclimating into the to this year and coming off that injury and getting into the rhythm, he'll be a lot better going forward. But but the defense got a lot of playmakers. On the D line, they got Bosa on one end, and then they got Khalil Mack, who had 6 sacks 2 weeks ago in the game. 6 sacks in one game. I don't care who it is. That's an amazing effort to get 6 sacks in one game. They got Asante Samuel Jr. at corner. The team, Darwin James at safety. They got a lot of talent on that team. They should be better than what they record speak for. And a lot of people saying it's the coaching, Brandon Staley. It might be the coaching. I know he liked to go for it a lot on 4th downs. This year he slowed it down a little bit, not going for it as much. But Brandon Staley, the Chargers, they got to turn that around. I expect them to beat the Chiefs this week, though. I do got the Chargers to upset the Chiefs this week. They seem to beat each other every year, same division. They win. They split the games one here and there. But I think they're a better team than what they're putting forward right now. Number 11, I got the Cincinnati Bengals, another loaded team on the offensive side with 3 receivers, with Boyd, who haven't been playing too well, Higgins, who just came back with the rib injury, last week. We got Chase. Chase, we already know, Mr. I'm always open, Mr. 7-11 himself. At any time you can throw him the ball, my boy say he's open. Joey, we got the quarterback, Burrow. Burrow had the calf injury. You can start to see he's starting to come around, looking a lot better from week 1, 2, and 3 on that calf injury, healing up for him. Hopefully he get it together. Hopefully Cincinnati offense become what they once was under the head coach Zach Taylor. I like to see them starting to sling that ball, putting up 30 points a game, making it fun again to watch Cincinnati play. They got Joe Mixon there running back. The defense side of the ball not the best, but they tend to try to play hard and rally to the ball, but they need a lot more talent on that defensive end. Do I expect them to get back to the Super Bowl with this roster? Nope. Don't expect them to get back to the Super Bowl this year, next year, until they start investing some money on that defensive side of the ball into some real star players. But right now, nope. But I got Cincinnati Bengals at number 11. Number 10, I got the Cleveland. Well, we're going to get into the top 10 right now. I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to start with the Cleveland Browns at number 10. Cleveland Browns. Big upset last week. They beat the San Francisco 49ers. 99.7% of the world money was lost betting on the San Francisco 49ers. Shout out to my boy Streets. the 49er fan. Streets love the 49ers. Mr. Blast Off Sports Media, y'all can check him out. Blast Off Sports Media. He a diehard 49 fan. If you want to find him on Instagram, I think it's 49er_streets. The guy really love them 49ers. He don't like you talk about them 49ers at all. But they lost to a third-string quarterback, an emergency quarterback. An emergency quarterback? That's Cleveland. You guys did what you had to do. Your head coach, he just outcoached Shanahan. It's the first time I ever said that in the last 4 years. I've seen a coach outcoach Shanahan. Shanahan is one of the top 3 coaches in the league between Shanahan, McVay, and McDaniels for the Dolphins. The guys are just unbelievable. They're unstoppable. But Cleveland Browns went in there. They believe right before the game they had like a fight with San Fran, you know, a little tussle and a little tussle. But the Cleveland Browns defense is pretty solid, top 5 defense in the league. They lost their running back. I didn't expect much from them once the running back went down, but they brought Kareem Hunt back over there for that running back. The Cleveland Browns is number 10, but I don't expect this to last too much longer. Watson is out hurt with a shoulder injury. I expect the Cleveland Browns I don't expect this trajectory to go up. I expect it to be like this for the rest of the year. Expect them to win about 8-9 games. Not to really make no noise. They're doing well, but I don't expect much more from them going forward. That's my number 10 team. Number 9, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars won 2 straight over there in London. You know the owner from London, so they get to play in London like every year. They love it over there. The fans love them over there. That's like another home game for them. So Jacksonville Jaguars, the offense starting to come in. Lawrence starting to get back into rhythm under Doug Peterson, the head coach. Peterson starting to put some plays together, starting to look like the old Philadelphia Eagles system he had. They looking a little better. They got spent a lot of their draft picks on that front 7. You know, we're starting to come Josh Allen on the D end, starting to come along. They spent some money. They got some players. Ingram at tight end, make a few plays here and there. Calvin Ridley had 1 good game out of 5. Calvin Ridley, you got to start making some plays happen. Once he started getting into rhythm, Christian Kirk is starting to play well. Christian Kirk make plays. They got to They got to get the ball to him a lot more. The guy he's explosive, so he could turn a 5-yard route into a 90-yard route. So with some yards out the catch. But if they can get Calvin Ridley a little bit more involved in ground, that offense is going to be unstoppable. They got the pieces. They just need to get the schematically. They need to put it together and start moving the ball. For number 8, I got the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens number 8. I know they had a loss that you look up and see Lamar Jackson been throwing some passes just like, what did you even look at? What was the read? Why did you throw the ball like that? The inaccuracy. Sometimes watching Lamar throw the ball, I'm like, this guy just too inaccurate to be at quarterback. But he's just an athlete. But then you'll see him play a game, and then he'll put the ball right on the money. But for the most part, he's an athlete. But what could the Ravens do? There's no quarterback out there that you could say, I'm going to replace Lamar Jackson with this quarterback. You just can't do it unless it's going to be somebody like Patrick Mahomes or something, which not going to happen. So for the most part, Lamar Jackson will be the quarterback for the next 5-10 years in the Ravens. He's an amazing player, great athlete, but I think the Ravens trying to get him more into throwing the ball. They need to start back mixing them plays in with him doing some read options, him drawing up some run plays for him, putting his speed out there on the field, making the defense account for it so that they can start getting a lot of one-on-ones with their receiving core. The receiving core, nobody believe in the receiving core, so they're getting. It's not like they're just playing over the top because they got speed, but people is making sure Lamar Jackson don't beat them as of now. They don't have no running game. Gus Edwards, he's there, but he always banged up. Justice Hill, always banged out. They lost Dobbins again this year. That's like 2-3 years in a row. The running back Dobbins went out. At this point, I think it's time Dobbins to either call it quits, retire, or the Ravens to move on from Dobbins. Don't bring him back next year. Maybe they draft a running back, or maybe they can make a move this offseason. What would be great for the Ravens if they could somehow talk Saquon Barkley into leaving the Giants this offseason and signing with the Ravens. That'd be crazy with him and Lamar Jackson. That'd be ridiculous. They got a good defense. All they need, but they need some receivers, some strong receivers. But I think the receivers would look better if you had a better run game. So we're gonna move on from we had Lamar Jackson at what was number 9 or 8. I had the Baltimore Ravens. Number 8, I had the Baltimore Ravens. Moving on to number 7, I got Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs rated number 7. I know they record said they 5-1. I don't believe Kansas City Chiefs that good. I look around at the roster, just from a roster standpoint, the X's and O's is not the same as well. Ever since that offensive coordinator left, I know everybody say Andy Reid was calling the plays. The plays just don't look the same. Just don't look the same. If you ask me, the X's and O's they're not executing at that same level they was last year, the year before, the last 3 years, they're not executing at that rate no more. They just been missing that receiver. Hopefully, a lot of people believe Rice gonna come be number 1. They drafted Rouse. He didn't do anything. Moore haven't been doing anything. Kadarius Toney hasn't been doing anything. The receiving core is the major problem. That's why I expect the Chargers to beat them this week. It's gonna come a time when somebody just gonna take Ksky out the game. That's their bread and butter. Patrick Mahomes finding Ksky. Eventually, somebody just gonna double team him or put their best defensive player on him. I remember watching Bill Belichick taking Talib, the cornerback. Talib went to the Patriots, and he had him guard tight ends. He was a cornerback, and he just took tight end. If you had a top tight end, he took him out the game. Somebody eventually going to take Ksky out the game. Eventually, they just going to game plan for him. Maybe not now in the regular season, but maybe in the playoffs. But I got Kansas City Chiefs at number 7. Moving on to number 6, I got the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions is a 5-1 team, doing well. They play hard. The coach, Dan Campbell, he get the most out of the team. Jared Goff at quarterback, still not the best quarterback, mid-tier quarterback, but he make plays happen. They getting Williams back. Williams to stretch the field. St. Brown, he always banged up, but he's a good receiver. The running game is banged up right now. Montgomery hurt. Gibbs hurt. It's just the defense is the front 7. The D line is pretty decent. Starting with Hutchinson, they don't really have no big time players on the defensive side of the ball. Somebody that can make a big difference outside of Hutchinson, and he's not as consistent. He's gonna grow into becoming that player, but as of today, he's not that guy as of right now. He's a good player, not a great player. Eventually, the Detroit defense, they rally to the ball, they play hard, but they don't really have the talent on the top. I expect somebody like some of the top teams to just watch Detroit. They playing well right now, so I wish them nothing but the best. But I expect that to come from here to start dropping little by little. Detroit Lions ain't too good of a team, if you ask me. Number 5, I got the Buffalo Bills. I know they had a tight game against the New York Giants. I just think they overlooked the New York Giants. Buffalo also got a lot of injuries. Middle linebacker out, cornerback White is out. They got a lot of guys going out on the defensive end. On the defense side of the ball. But they got Von Miller coming back, getting used to his regiment, coming back into the getting back acclimated to the game speed. I expect the Buffalo Bills to start going up, start winning more games with that high-powered offense with Josh Allen at quarterback, with Diggs at receiver, Kincaid at tight end. My guy Davis at wide receiver. They got a lot of talent on that team. I think Buffalo going to continue to improve. That Giant game, I don't think that's who the Bills is. I think they more the team of who beat the Miami Dolphins rather than a team that had a close one to the Giants. Moving on to number 4. Number 4, we got the top team in the league, the number 1 team in the league, but I'm ranking them number 4. They my team, my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. Who we are, we them boys.
Hold on, we them boys.
That's the Dak Prescott we looking forward to seeing in the near future, continue to be that Prescott. Consistent at that level, that'll win a lot of games for us. Trayvon Diggs went down, major blow to us. But we got Deron playing. He remind me so much of Diggs. The boy just a ball hawk. The ball anywhere in his vicinity, he gonna go get his hands on it. He dropped 2 picks against the Chargers. We gotta complete them interceptions. I think, like I've been saying for the last few weeks on this show, we need to start playing some of the young guys. We need to start playing the 2 young safeties, Wanye Thomas. It's time to see him at safety over Malik Hooker. I know we signed Malik Hooker to a future 3-year deal. I'm ready to move on from that. I don't think Malik Hooker got the speed and athleticism to go from one side of the field to the other side of the field back there in the secondary. So we need to put Wanye Thomas, 6'3" frame, athletic, fast, quick. He's a ball hawk as well. he can start turning that ball over back there. Anybody put the ball in the air, he can make a play on it a lot faster than Malik Hooker will. Wolf Hunter went down. Leighton Van Ash, kind of a blessing for us. I've been saying we should have got rid of Van Ash for the last 2 years, but he keep coming back to play for free. He don't have that athleticism, that explosiveness. He can't shoot the gaps, shoot the lanes when they're there. There's missed opportunities. We put Marquise Bell, who I've been hoping to get on the, been waiting to get on the field. We finally put him on the field. We moved him to linebacker, and you can see against the Chargers, he was shooting them gaps, making tackles for losses, TFLs. He was all over the field, flying around. We need that type of speed and athleticism at linebacker to make this defense move and play a little different. We need DeMarcus Lawrence to start stepping it up. He's been disappearing the last few games. Michael Parson, the beast, the animal, he made that big play to win this game and get that sack. I know Gilmore made the interception right after, but that interception was a result of Michael Parson making a sack right before to move him back more, and now you got to force it to try to make a play, and Gilmore came up with, Gilly Lock came up with the play to end the game, won us that game. I expect the Cowboys to continue to improve. They're on the trajectory upward. We need to continue to do that, and I like this, and we'll be in the playoffs this year for sure. NFC Championship, definitely, I think we'll be there for sure. Moving on to number three, Philadelphia Eagles. I moved them to number 3. Reason being, they took a horrible loss against the Jets. Jalen Hurts, system quarterback. I've been saying that for the last 2 years. The Jets continue to expose my theory that Jalen Hurts is an average quarterback at best. He's not out there making audibles, changing plays, going from this route to this route. He's not doing that. That's not his skill set. He's not that type of player. He's not skilled to that level where he's going through 1, 2, 3, 4 reads. Jalen Hurts is more of, hey, this play, if you call this offensive play in the huddle, the coach, hey, coach say this is the play call. He get the play in his ear. He tell his teammates. He know if they run a zone, if they run under a cover 2 zone, they run a cover 4 zone, they run a man-to-man, he know this is the check for the man-to-man. This is the check for the cover 2. He know the checks and where the ball should go depending on the defensive side of the performance. And he's going to that route, to that guy. Sometimes you might see him have a 400-yard passing game, but that's strictly because the receivers and the talent he got on offense is so much better than the defense that they're going up against. Them guys getting open, they getting wide open. Sometimes I see Smith and Brown 5-10-yard separation from the guys that they're playing against. That's a result of the receivers making it so easy for him to perform, rather than a result of Jalen Hurts. The Eagles, the Jets stopped the run game from the Eagles last week. They made Jalen Hurts a passer, and that resulted to 3 picks. Jalen Hurts literally lost the game. He threw the interception that put the Jets on like the 7-yard line. And Breece Hall got the interception to make them go up 20-14. The Eagles had 14 points from halftime. Couldn't score in the third or fourth quarter. I just think the Eagles has a lot of talent. Every single where they have talent. Secondary, the worst part of their defense, but they're a talented team. I think it comes down to Jalen Hurts consistently making plays at the end of the day. He can make plays because he's a playmaker, but once the defense take away his options, how can he design or make adjustments to win a game is what we need to see from him in the future. Moving on to number 2, San Francisco 49ers. A lot of people got them number 1. I moved to number 2, reason being that loss they took is just as bad as the loss the Eagles took against the Jets. They lost to the Browns, to a designated emergency quarterback in P.J. Walker, a guy that's still signed to a practice squad deal, not even on a full-time roster, not signed to a full-time roster deal, don't even have a contract for the Cleveland Browns. He's a practice squad player, making below minimum league money, which is crazy. But they lost that game to that third-string quarterback. A bad loss. I know San Francisco players went down within that game. You got to find a way. Brock Purdy, like I've been telling everybody, just like Jalen Hurts, another system quarterback. He has a lot of talent around him, so he performed well. The moment them guys went down, he became a regular Joe. He became a Jag. Just became a Jag player. Just another guy. He didn't look the same. There was no CMC, no McCaffrey. There was no Debo. When them guys got hurt, that McCaffrey could hand the ball off to. It was nobody to hand the ball off to make amazing plays or throw little shallow routes to or something out the backfield like the extended handoff. He didn't have that at his disposal. He didn't have Debo Samuel to throw a little quick screen to, a 5-yard slant that could turn it into a 50, 60-yard play. He didn't have them options, and he started to look regular, exactly what most of the people that thought he was, that watch the games and understand he's not doing much. He's just doing what Shanahan allowing him to do. Shanahan was out coached. Thought I'd never say that. He got out coached. It's crazy. Never expected that. First time I ever seen, in the last few years, I seen Mike Shanahan get out coached. Moving on to the number one team. This team is number one because their loss to the Buffalo Bills, which is the Dolphins' number one ranked team for me right now, their loss to the Buffalo Bills wasn't as bad as the loss that San Fran suffered against Cleveland or the loss that the Eagles suffered against the Jets. They lost to the Bills, another good team, a division opponent. That wasn't a bad loss. And then the Dolphins also got the number one receiver in the league with the most receiving yards in here. They got the quarterback with the most passing yards in the league. They put up 70 points against the Dolphins. Could have broke the record, the 72-point record. They had a chance to kick the field goal. They was on like the 15-yard line. They could have made it 73. They kneeled. They took the sportsmanship way out. I would have kicked the field goal. I would have got that record. My name would have been etched in this book. Dolphins could have had the only undefeated season and the most points scored in the game. They decided not to take it. Crazy. Couldn't have been me coaching. Would have took that record. But I like to see this week the Dolphins versus the Eagles. This is a game I want to see. I want to see McDaniels, the top coach in the league right now for sure, is probably going to win Coach of the Year. Tua might win MVP of the year. They continue to play at this rate and this pace. I want to see what design McDaniel come up with this week versus the Eagles D-line. That Dolphin offense versus the Eagles D-line. I know the Dolphins can score and move the ball. The Eagles secondary not that good. What they need to worry about is that push coming through the middle and up front and getting to Tua, shaking Tua, rattling Tua. How can McDaniel make Tua feel comfortable? What plays are you going to draw up? How fast you going to get the ball out of Tua's hand? What designs you going to have? What schemes you coming up with? That's what I'm trying to see this week. I want to see the concept. I want to see this game going to come down to that Dolphin offense. Is the Dolphins offense and McDaniel geniusness can make something happen and can take away that Eagles D-line push, or the Eagles D-line being that good and dominant that they can get to Tua and the result stopping Tua from performing well and that Dolphins offense from performing well. This is what we're looking to see this week. The Eagles D-line versus the Miami Dolphins O-line. And I think whoever wins that battle will tell us a lot about this game. But the Dolphins O-line might not have to beat the Eagles D-line because McDaniel's a genius. He might draw something up that we don't even need to see. That battle won't even matter depending on how he schemed this game. The guy every week he do something. I'm like, dang, that was crazy. So this week, that's what I'm looking for. What McDaniel's finna draw up to keep his team and ranked number one over here at Real Sports Covering, where the Dolphins is ranked number one. I would have loved to rank my Dallas Cowboys number one, but I'm gonna be honest and give it to the Miami Dolphins at number one. We're gonna bring the same ranking back next week. Week 8, we'll see where we rank all the teams. Every week, these teams can move. Some can go up, some could go down, some can go up one spot, drop 3-4 spots, depending on how you perform. It's a week-to-week basis. Hopefully, my Dallas Cowboys come back off this bye week and destroy the Eagles straight off the bye week. I really don't care if the Eagles lose this week to the Dolphins because they will lose the following week to my Dallas Cowboys. Oh, man, the Eagles don't want to lose this many in a row. Jets beat you last week. Dolphins might beat them this week. Dallas for sure going to beat them next week. That'll be 3 straight losses. We out. Real Sports Covering. And one more time for everybody out there.
Hold up.